What is up, YouTube? This is Sleipnir here with another Let's Play EVE Online, and today I'm going to be showing you the mission system and kind of how that works. I'm also going to kind of be just explaining a little bit on the different types of missions and how those missions are run. There are quite a few different types of missions that you can do. You can run missions with every faction. There's also quite a few factions and races as well. I also have Red, Armageddon, and Crawl001 with us today. They're in our corporation, Rofsakale is it corporation or enterprises? I'm sorry.
Enterprise.
Alright. So, Red, go ahead and introduce yourself.
This is Red Armageddon, resident mission runner, 00 Pew PvPer guy, and beer drinker. Also CEO of Rofsakale Enterprises.
Right on, right on. And Crawl, go ahead. Introduce yourself, my good friend.
This is Kroll, and it's good to be here, gentlemen. Just a minor hauler, missioner, blah blah blah, stuff and things.
Right on, right on. Alright, so today I'm actually going to be showing you a mission that I've already been kind of going on. I'm actually on objective 5 of 5. So this will be the last of a set of 5, obviously. And so I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm going to be doing on this mission. We've picked the mission up, or we're going to be picking the mission up in 08 space. And it's, I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Vlad, or Vlade. And it's for the Federation Navy Logistics Support, which, if you don't know what that is, it's Federation Navy is the faction, and this is under Gallente Space. So what we're going to be doing is, in the objectives here, we're going to be flying into dead space, and we're going to basically fly until we encounter some battleships. Then we're going to disengage and retreat like a little bitch back to our agent. So basically the story goes, the captives you rescued in the last mission have told me their tale. Although frightened and quite traumatized, they told me how they were captured by Amarian thugs. So basically these Amarian fucks basically came in and are making slaves, which is never good. So we're gonna go and I guess try to liberate them or kick some ass. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess we'll find out once we get into the mission. So Red or Crawl, you guys feel free to add anything that you guys have ever, as far as missions go. If you guys have anything you want to add to that, that'd be cool. I'm gonna go ahead and accept the mission, and then once I get on docked, I'll show you guys how to get out to mission.
I'd just like to add one thing. When in doubt, insure your ship.
That's definitely the right thing to do. You want to make sure that when you first get your ship, that you definitely want to insure it beforehand, before you take it out of the station that you bought it at, or wherever you're going to be buying it out of. You're going to probably want to insure it. This is going to insure you, basically, I'll go ahead and show you here. You're going to click on the insurance tab up the top right here, and then you're going to click on the insurance option here. It's going to show you your boat. So for mine it says Thorax, and it tells you the date that it was insured and the date it's insured to. So if we do double click on that, it's actually going to show us the ship information, and then it's going to tell us what insurance I have. So I've got Platinum Insurance, which is going to cover me probably up to I want to say maybe 10 million ISK of the cost of the ship, and I bought the ship for about 11.5 million ISK. So again, that's a great point. Always insure your ship. So let's go ahead and undock and get out into space here.
I would like to add that the one thing every EVE player should know is don't fly what you can't afford to lose.
That's exactly right. If you feel that flying into low-sec space, which is a low-security space or area, which isn't, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically it's not guarded by or lessly guarded by Concord, so you can be attacked by other players, not to mention that you might lose your ship in a mission as well.
Now, there's no Concord out in LoSec, however, it is an honorable mention that gates and stations do have sentry turrets that will shoot the aggressor. So if you do any piracy, or if you think you're going to have some piracy commit against you, that is something to keep in mind that might be beneficial depending on what you're trying to do.
Right. Alright, so what we're going to go ahead and do here is that you'll notice that up at the top here you've got 3 different options for your system information, your agent or your route info, and then also again your agent mission information. So you'll have a drop down. Once you select your mission, you'll be able to go ahead and select either where the agent home base is or where the actual encounter is. So we're going to go ahead and hit warp to location. This is going to take us out to the mission. And you get that nice little warp drive active thing that we all hate because we hear it millions of times a day. And then we're going to go ahead and warp out into the mission area. So again, as I was talking about before in the previous video, Rothscale Enterprises is actually looking for other players. Right now we're kind of a small corporation, but we are looking for you know, miners, not miners as in like lower aged people, as in like people that can actually go out and mine, people that want to run missions, and also people that want to do PvP or get started into PvP. And also we're also looking for players that are new as well, and so those are always welcome. So now we're going to go ahead and approach the gate. And basically a lot of the mission areas, when you get a mission, it's going to take you to, once you warp out to that area, it's going to take you to a gate that, if you guys are familiar with other games that are like that are instance based, like World of Warcraft, or even Guild Wars 2 has instance areas, you'll basically, a gate is taking you into your mission. Now other players do have the ability to go into these gates or mission areas. It's pretty difficult for them to do that, but if they know how to do it, they can. So don't always assume that you're alone. So we're coming up on the gate here, and as soon as we hit to a certain point, we'll be able to warp in. And then see what we've got in the mission. Alright. So I've got all my combat windows open, and it looks like we have a lot of enemies. So we're going to go ahead and do as the mission says and get our ass to the next gate, because there are a lot of enemies here. We're probably going to start getting fired upon, which, yep, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and activate my resist and my damage control just to make sure that I'm not taking a super crazy amount of damage. And then go ahead and just get into the next area. So hopefully we don't take too much damage. Right now we're just taking some shield damage. My particular setup, I'm set up to tank with armor, so I can repair a pretty good substantial amount of damage. So right now I can see there's tons of people shooting at me right now. As long as we don't get warp scrambled or anything like that, I think we'll be just fine. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have to fight off some of these targets, and the gate is locked, so we're going to go ahead and launch our drones. We're going to go ahead and pick the targets that are within our optimal range, and we're going to start blasting away. So now that we have our drones out in space, we're going to go ahead and start engaging some targets. When in doubt, fucking fire your lasers. We're also going to want to make sure that while we're doing this, that we're not using up all of our capacitor while we're doing this. Otherwise, you're going to run out of energy with your capacitor, and you won't be able to keep up your resistances or your damage control, or even use your armor repair, which would be friggin' terrible, because then you lose your ship, and it would be a bad day. So, I'm taking a ton of damage here, but it's alright, we got this. And you guys feel free to go ahead and chime in whenever you want. It's perfectly
Everything you're
fine.
saying sounds good. I'm 70 jumps from home.
I completely agree.
70 jumps, good god.
I am in Zulu Tank 6 Yankee Quebec Charlie, deep in Stain.
Wow. Now also, here's another thing to remember too, is that if you start taking too much damage, it looks like you might not be able to handle all of the enemies in the first pocket once you get in. It's never a bad thing to warp out. If it's gonna save you your ship, just do it. Even if you have to leave your drones, go ahead and just jump out. It's perfectly fine. It's not a noob thing to do. But as you can see, I am starting to get low on capacitor. So now it says capacitor is empty. I'm gonna go ahead and try to take out a few more ships. And once I start to get down to a specific point here, which will be pretty soon, I'm gonna bring the drones back and then go ahead and warp out. Another thing too that you might want to do as well is just make sure that you don't have things running that you don't want to have running. Right now I was using my afterburner to get up kind of closer within range. So I went ahead and switched that off, and now that I have some capacitor, I'll go ahead and switch my armor repair back on now that I have some more capacitor power. And then we'll just continue to kick ass. But you want to make sure that you always have your resistances and your damage control on. This is going to help you stay alive. And again, if it looks like you're getting ready to die, jump the hell out. It's never a bad thing. So right now we're actually doing pretty well. We're doing just fine. So we're going to go ahead and just keep hammering away on these guys. The drones are doing their thing.
I do want to add on that note that it's very important to make sure that you tank the right damage on missions.
That is right. Definitely.
I mean, you don't want to go into an Angel mission with thermal resists when the primary damage profile is as low as.
Right, exactly. See, I got lucky going into this mission. I do have the right resist set up.
That's why I kind of like the middle ground approach, because there are several different types of armor that resist all.
Alright, so it looks like we're going to take a bit too much damage, so we're going to go ahead and pull the drones back, and then we're going to go ahead and warp out. So, activating warp drive, and as soon as we reach 75% in speed, we'll hit warp and we'll jump out. Again, no shame in jumping out. It saves you a ship and whatever fittings and implants you might have.